Welcome back everybody. I thought it'd be time to carry on my airbrush tips and tricks series, which I last left off at part 6 I believe, so there's 1 to 6, and if you want to see the rest of those then I have a YouTube playlist specifically for my airbrush guides now, so have a little look at that to see what I'm talking about. So what I thought I'd talk about this time around is actually concentrate on the compressor side of things for the actual airbrush modelling. And as you can see right here, this is my setup. I won't go into too much lengths of this in this video, but I will do very soon. But as you can see, then that's my compressor. I have a few bits and bobs around here. That's my extractor. That's my main airbrush set, and so we'll talk about this for today. Now, the model I've got is pretty much designed for the hobby, model painting industry. So it's a pretty small one. It's known as if you want to do a search for it, it's a mini air compressor basically. And you can see some stats for it there. It's still fairly big. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of noise when you turn it on, but it's certainly decent and powerful enough for what we're going to need it for. So this being a tips and tricks series, I thought I'd point out a few things to help you guys when you want to decide on buying one of these things, because it's not exactly cheap, but then again it's not exactly anywhere near as expensive as you can go to when you're buying the proper things either. Alright, so I thought I'd take you guys to eBay right now, which is where I bought my air compressor from. So the first thing is, if you just type in air compressor, then you're going to get all kinds of things. You're going to get like the really massive, industrial type of air compressors for tradespeople, and that's not what you want. That's going to be massive. It's going to have a lot of power, and it's also going to be really loud as well. So these are all sort of things to not look out for. On the flip side of the coin, then a lot of people have air compressors to pump up their basically bike and car tires, and they're going to be really, really tiny little things like this. And as you can see, it's got some attachments for footballs and all that kind of stuff, and for tyre valves, and this is too small and not suitable either, and these are going to be powered off just a car battery, cigarette lighter type thing, and you can see they're really cheap, but that's not what you want at all. The best thing to do, I would suggest, is even if you're not using eBay, then the type of thing you're looking for is if you type in airbrush compressor, and what you'll get is you can see straight away you get a lot of these, which I think they all come from China, I believe, but it's the same model I have. There's various iterations, but this is the kind of thing that I would recommend buying, and as you can see, it's not overly expensive considering it's such a heavy item. Comes with 2 airbrushes, and it's a free postage as well. So I'm not sort of advertising this, but I'm just telling you guys that's what I got. So it's the mini air compressor. It comes with two airbrushes, and they're not going to be great, but if I'm being honest, I still use mine right now, even though I have an Iwata. So they're still good for certain things, and definitely what you should be practicing on. They're good enough in my opinion. And the good way of buying a set, the good reason for buying a set is because you're going to get the hose and you're going to get all the right fittings, so that they're going to all work together basically as a system. So if you buy your own compressor, then buy your own airbrush, and then buy your own hose when you don't exactly know what you're doing yet, then you might find you're going to need all kinds of converters and adapters to get everything fitted together. And you can see there's a lot of this sort of stuff going on, all various prices. So if you're into this hobby and you think you're going to give it a go, then I suggest that you definitely have a look on eBay or something similar. Now, I would say in retrospect, if you look at my airbrush setup from earlier on in the video, then I started off with one of these because they are kind of like the cheapest kind that you can get. But in retrospect, as one little tip I can give you straight away, is I would have got one with a tank, which is what this black thing is underneath. So everything's the same. You get the same air compressor really. The 2 airbrushes. You get the regulator, which I'll explain what that is in a future video. But you get this tank, and what that means is it's like a pressurized tank. So what this will do is when you're using an airbrush, it's constantly ticking over, making like an engine noise. Think of like a little sort of, lawnmower, if you will. It makes that kind of noise as you're using the airbrush, and that's constant. What this tank does is when you turn this on, it will basically pump this tank full of gas, full of air, and compress it, so that you're using what the air is left inside this tank instead of actually having this constantly on. So it's just a lot more efficient, and you can get away with airbrushing with a lot more control, because you're not getting bursts of constant air, and it's basically a lot less quiet. So if you've got like a family that doesn't appreciate you spraying all kinds of paints and making all kinds of noise and all that sort of stuff, then I would definitely recommend getting one with a tank. And as you can see, the price, to be honest, it's actually no different. So my recommendation, I would definitely have gotten one of these instead of just the very cheapest, this kind of thing. So, alright, that's really a very basic introduction to air compressors. I'm trying to keep these videos short, of course, so that you can watch various parts instead of watching me talk about it, in a one massive 1 hour long session. So what I'll do for the next video is talk about actually using the compressor and a few more tips and tricks I can give in terms of actually putting it to practice and all of that. I'll explain a little bit more about the various dials and regulators and all that sort of stuff. So be sure to tune in soon. If you like this video, then please press like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys again very shortly. So thank you. Got one of these instead of just the very cheapest, this kind of thing. So alright, that's really a very basic